والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين وعلى آله وصحابته أجمعين. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. سبحانك لا فهم لنا إلا ما فهمتنا إنك أنت الجواد الكريم. قل رب زدني علما. قال المصنف رحمه الله تبارك وتعالى ونفعنا بعلومه في الدارين. قال عن أسيد بن عمرو ويقال بن جابر وهو بضم الحمزة وفتح السين المهملة قال: كان عمر بن الخطاب رضي الله عنه إذا أتى عليه أمداد أهل اليمن سألهم: أفيكم أويس بن عامر؟ حتى أتى على أويس رضي الله عنه فقال له: أنت أويس بن عامر؟ قال: نعم. قال: من مراد ثم من قرن؟ قال: نعم. قال: كان بك برص فبرأت منه إلى موضع درهم؟ قال: نعم. قال: لك والدة؟ قال: نعم. قال: سمعت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول: يأتي عليكم أويس بن عامر من أمداد أهل اليمن من مراد ثم من قارن، كان به برص فبرأ منه إلى موضع درهم، له والدة هو بها بار، لو أقسم على الله لأبره، فإن استطعت أن يستغفر لك فافعل، فاستغفر لي، فاستغفر له. فقال له عمر: أين تريد؟ قال: الكوفة. قال: ألا أكتب لك إلى عاملها؟ قال: أكون في غبراء الناس أحب إلي. فلما كان من العام المقبل حج رجل من أشرافهم فوافق عمر في السعي عن أويس فقال: تركته رث البيت قليل المتاع. قال: سمعت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول: يأتي عليكم أويس بن عامر مع أمداد أهل اليمن من مراد من قارن، كان به برص بر منه إلى موضع درهم، له والدة بها هو بها بر، لو أقسم الله لا بره، إن استطعت أن يستغفر لك فافعل. فأتى أويسا فقال: استغفر لي. قال: أنت أحدث عهدا بسفر صالح، فاستغفر لي. قال: لقيت عمر؟ قال: لقيت عمر؟ قال: نعم. فاستغفر له ففطن له الناس فانطلق على وجهه. رواه مسلم. الله أكبر. A little bit long but most amazing hadith. From Usayd ibn Amr, he narrates that Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anhu, whenever the reinforcements used to come, the armies or the people would come from Yemen, so Umar used to ask them, is there among you Uwais ibn Amr? And so ultimately, among a group that came from Yemen, someone actually responded, and so he actually found Uwais ibn Amr. فقال له: أنت أويس ibn Amr? So Umar asked him, are you Uwais ibn Amr? He said, yes. He said, are you from the tribe of Murad and then from Qarn? In other words, Murad is the largest tribe and the Qarn is the sub-tribe. Are you from this tribe? He said, yes. He said, did you have leprosy and you have been cleared of that leprosy, or have you been, you've recuperated from that, except for a small portion which is the size of a dirham? He said, yes. He said, do you have a mother? He said, yes. He said, I heard Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Umar radiallahu, he says, I heard Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam saying that a person will come upon you, his name is Uwais ibn Amr, from Amdad al-Yemen, from the reinforcements of the people of Yemen, from the tribe of Murad, and furthermore from the tribe of Qarn. And he previously had leprosy, and he recuperated from that, except for the small portion the size of a dirham. And he has a mother whom he is very kind and considerate and in her service. And this individual, if he swears by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that such and such should happen, or Allah will do such and such, then Allah will do it for him. Allahu Akbar. So, if you are able to have him make istighfar for you, then do it. In other words, if you happen to meet this individual, Rasulullah says, have him make istighfar for you. So, Umar radiallahu, he says, so I'm asking you to make istighfar for me. So he said to Uwais Qarni. So he's better known as Uwais al-Qarni, right? The best of the Tabi'een. So then Umar radiallahu asked him, so where are you going? He said, I'm going to Kufa. He said, should I not write to the governor there, and he'll be of service to you and he'll help you? I said, no. He said, for me to remain among virtually ghabara min an-nas, the dusty people, meaning the people who are poor and destitute, I want to remain with them. That's more beloved to me. I don't want to be known, I don't want to become famous, I don't want attention, I want to remain unnoticed, unidentified. So then when the next year came, and it so happened that a person from Kufa, from among the very noble people of Kufa, happened to perform Hajj, so he also met Umar. And Sir Umar asked him about Uwais. You have this fellow Uwais ibn Amir. He said, what about him? He said, I left him, in other words, when I left Kufa and I came for Hajj, I left him in a very simple, very disheveled house with very few things. There's very few, very little in his house. So then, of course, Umar mentioned to this fellow, he said that I heard Rasulullah says that a person, Uwais ibn al-Amir, he will come from Yemen, from the tribe of Murad, from Qarn, and he previously had leprosy, and he got better from that, except for the small portion of a dirham, and he had a mother who he was very kind to and very considerate and in her service. If he swears by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then Allah will do what he asks. So if you are able, so Umar is giving him this advice also, that if he's able to make istighfar for you, then so be it. So this fellow, when he came back to Kufa, so he met Uwais, he said, make istighfar for me. So Uwais told him, he said, but you come from a very pious journey, you're coming from Hajj, so it's better that you make dua for me. So then he started, maybe he knows about me. So he said, did you meet Umar? He said, yes. He said, oh, okay. So he made istighfar for that fellow, and then now, after that, the people started realizing this is a very, very auspicious person, and so as soon as that happened, he took off and left and vanished, because he didn't want to be known and recognized and pampered, and he thought that would be a fitna for him, perhaps. And this is the way of some of our aslaf. We talked about that, we were talking about shuhra and riya and all of that. So Uwais al-Qarni, and in other riwayats, he mentions other riwayats that have some additions, and in some of those additions it's mentioned that he happens to be, Nabi ﷺ said that he is the best of the tabi'een. Inna khayra tabi'een rajulun yuqalu Uwais. The best of the tabi'een, of all the successors of the Sahaba, is Uwais al-Qarni. So actually he should have been a Sahabi, and he should have actually been able to have met Rasulullah ﷺ, and Rasulullah knew about him, but he was not able to reach Medina because of his service to his mother. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gather us all together and with him and all the pious people, Nabiyyin, Siddiqeen, Shuhada, Salihin, in the auspicious final abode in Jannah. Ameen, Tumma Ameen, wa akhira da'wana. And alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Assalamu alaikum.